jurisdiction. I'm also being guided to let the FBI know that when they get the time, if they're not busy, when they get the time and day to take out their badge, to look at their badges, and to look at the symbolism on what's on their FBI badge, and to look at the scales and to look at the sword. The scales are in one hand and the sword is in the other hand. And to go do their research and look up Archangel Michael, if they don't know who he is. And some of them are not familiar with Archangel Michael, because that's the archangel that defends us in battle. It defeats the wickedness snares of the devil. I made a community post about this not too long ago, and I'm being guided to get into a deeper spiritual meaning and what their badge represents when it comes to destroying and wiping out these cults and covens and disrupting these organizations that have these ulterior motives towards these spiritual people when it comes to that. Because they have the federal jurisdictional law and they're under their titles and sections of U.S. Supreme rulings to bring these organizations down immediately. I'm being guided to let them know that when they observe the scales that's in the one hand on their badge, the scales, that right there will represent balance, okay? That's connected to the angel number 222, which would be balance. That will represent justice. And then you have the sword on the other hand, which is being held. That right there will be the sword of truth. That's the sword that defends you in battle. Therefore, it's going to link it directly to the Archangel Michael statue that's been depicted as him. And if you really do your research and look up who Archangel Michael really is, you're going to see him with his sword drawn back. Keep in mind, that sword is in one hand and the scales are in the other hand. So it's still a simulation of what's on your badge. If you look up the spiritual meaning beyond what Archangel Michael does, who he has a sword drawn back on, he's the devil. Hold on, y'all.
Awaits you.
But yeah, just like I was saying, they have the devil that's on the ground, and with Archangel Michael having his foot on the devil's head and the sword drawn back. I know I put it on pause for a minute because my dad was doing something there. He was making noise. But anyways, with that card, with that statue being depicted as Archangel Michael having his foot on the devil's head like that, with the sword drawn back in his hand and he has the scales in the other hand, that means that he's stopping the Satanism. That's what that federal badge stands for. They have the power and authority to dismantle these cults, these covens, and any organization that is connected to this, to give these individuals the unethical, illegal permission to engage in this type of practice, to violate Title 34 USC Section 12601, connected directly into the 18 U.S. Code 1962, which would be RICO. They have the authority on a federal jurisdictional level to wipe these cults and covens clean and to bring them to justice. So if these higher-ups has ever received a phone call that come in from a spiritual healer, spiritual leader, an earth angel, this is what this was pertaining to, how serious these matters really are. And the main reason why they try to get these individuals discredited, because they don't want you protecting them. When that's your duty under the U.S. Supreme rulings and under y'all titles and sections, also protected on the 14th Amendment and the First Amendment, the right